Have you ever thought about what roles Christians play in the workplace, in social groups, in their clubs, or even in the community? Is our faith supposed to be a public faith, or is it supposed to be a private faith that's quite a personal thing to you? Well, that's what we're going to talk about in this video coming up. My name is Sven, I'm a pastor, and my desire is to help people to follow the ways and the teachings of Jesus in their everyday practical living. And in Jesus' ministry, in one of his teachings, he actually teaches Christians, his followers, what their role is in the world around them. And he likens that to being salt and light. He says that if something loses its saltiness, how can it ever be made salty again? Or he says, you are the light. You are the light of the world. And he says, when you have a light, you set it up on a high place so that it'll light up the whole house. And so Jesus likens us to salt and light because salt and light have influence in the environments that they're exposed to. Whatever environment they're added to, they make it better. They influence it. Salt influences the way food tastes. It influences how to preserve food. Light influences what happens in a room and what you can see and what you can't see. And so salt and light are influential. And so Christians are called by Jesus to have influential roles in society, to whenever they go to the workplace, to their social groups, clubs, or in the community, we're called to be influencers for the kingdom of God in the world around us. But what kind of influence? What kind of influence are we to have? Are we to tell people what to do? I don't think that's quite what it is. You see, salt and light, they make things better. They improve the quality of things. In fact, salt improves the flavor of food. I mean, come on, have you ever had the potato chip without salt? It is disgusting. I mean, I can't stomach it, I'm sorry. But add a little razzle dazzle of salt onto that chip, and it makes all the difference. That thing comes alive, it's otherworldly, it's amazing, and you can finish a whole basket full of it. Well, think about light, how light influences the room, how light influences the mood of the room. If you want it to be a quiet place, the bright light and the stark, decor. But if you have, in a restaurant setting, you have dimmed down lights, well, that increases the social engagement in a room. In fact, can sometimes make it an even warmer and more welcoming place. I don't know what it is, but there's something about light that influences the atmosphere. They make things better. And we are called to be like salt and light in the places and spaces that we find ourselves in. So when we enter into our workplace, or when we enter into our social group, or into a club, or the running club, or the basket weaving club, or the diving club, or the photography club, or into the community, we are called to enhance the atmosphere of the place that we're going. We're called to make improvements. We're called to add value into the places and the spaces that we go to. We're not there to tear things down. We're not there to criticize. We're not there to belittle. We are there to let the light of God shine through us, because Jesus said to his followers, you are the light of the world. And so we're called to shine this light out into the world. And we do that in simple ways, not grand ways, but in very simple, easy to do ways for everybody. Where we serve people. When it's easier to take, we give. We are kind to people. When it's easier for us to do what we want to do and we snub out the competition. No, we are kind to people because people are valuable to God. We show love to people when it's easier to disregard them entirely, or to not forgive them, or hold something against them. And we're called to love them, to love our enemies. And as we do this, we begin to influence the environment. We make things better. I've got a quick question for you as a question of the day that you can leave in the comment section. What environments do you go to that you can make better, that you can influence for the kingdom of God? These things are so important because the world is trapped in darkness. In fact, Jesus talks about the kingdom of darkness. But the good news is this, that even though the darkness is so thick in the earth that you can feel it. I mean, come on, can you feel something tangible in the world whenever you watch the news? Things just seem darker and worse. And maybe that's just the reporting, but there is this darkness over the earth. It's undeniable. And the good news though, is that Jesus came in to bring in a new kingdom, a kingdom of light and a kingdom of freedom. It is so important because people don't have to be trapped in darkness. They can experience the kingdom of light. You and I, as followers of Jesus, we are in that kingdom, and that kingdom lives within us. We have salt and light in our heart. We're called to let it loose, to give it out into the world. In fact, when Jesus is teaching on this, he says to the people, would you put a light on and then cover it so that nobody could see it? No, you wouldn't do that. You would let it shine throughout the whole house so that everybody can see. And he says, in the same way, let your good deeds shine before men so that they may glorify your Father in heaven. It's not about self-promotion. It's about others, promoting others, helping others, serving others. That people go, wow, something's different about this person. That is what we're called to do. Those are our roles wherever we go. But have you noticed sometimes we would much rather put a basket over our light? We would much rather cover our light, and we say, you know what, I'm a Christian and I'll let my light shine when I'm at church, when I'm around other people who are also Christians. That's when my light will shine. Only thing is, there's already so much light in the room. Where light is needed is in the dark places. You and I, we don't serve Jesus for a private faith. Our private faith needs to be strong and needs to be growing and needs to be there. But the purpose of our private faith is to have a public influence for the kingdom of God. Not to stand on a street corner somewhere calling down fire from heaven and calling out judgment on people. No, we're called to love and serve in the world. And in that way, we will release the light that's within us so that other people would see the light and be drawn to the light. In fact, there's a really cool story in Exodus chapter 10. Now, what's happening is in this part of history, the Egyptians have enslaved the Israelites for generations. And God has heard the cry and the oppression against his people. And he sends Moses to set them free, but Pharaoh and the Egyptians wouldn't have it. With hard hearts, they didn't want to let go of this nation that was working for free for them. And so God put a judgment over the people and sent 10 plagues into Egypt. And it wasn't just a judgment on Egypt, but it was also to show the Israelites the power of the God that they serve and that God had heard their cries. And so one of the 10 plagues is the plague of darkness, where darkness settles over all of Egypt. I mean, the Bible records how it was so thick that people couldn't even see their hand. They couldn't see where they were going. And so it was like this trap. They said it was so dark you could feel it. Have you ever been in a place that's like that in your life? It's so dark you can feel it. But there was a place in the land where there was plenty of light, and that was in the camps of the Israelites. The only place in all of Egypt where there was light. Now, for sure, the Egyptians would have seen the light at a far distance, because when it's that black and that dark, you notice the light that's happening. But they had no control over it. They couldn't get there. So you and I, what we're called to do as followers of Jesus, our role in the world around us is to go to the places that are dark and to shine the light of Jesus in those places so that they too may see and experience the goodness of God and give glory to our Father in heaven. So let's not pray, God, what should we do and what's our purpose? Our purpose, our role is to simply be carriers of the light into the places and spaces that we're already going to, and to be influencers for the kingdom of God. You don't have to worry about 10 or 20 people. What about that one person in that place that needs encouragement? What about that one person who needs to be served, or that one person that needs to be loved? Let's influence the one so that we don't have to be overcome by the many. There's a great saying, I think it's by Andy Stanley. It says, do for one what you wish you could do for many. In that way, we can shine the light of Jesus. We can be salt and light, and we can be kingdom influencers in the world around us. I hope this has been helpful to you and practical, and I would love you to think about what is the one thing this week that you can do to show the light and to be salty, to improve the environment and atmosphere of where you're already going. If this has been helpful to you, would you consider hitting the like button or sharing it with some of your friends? Or why not subscribe to this channel to receive more content on videos like this? And if you would like to get a notification in your inbox when new content is being released, just hit the notification bell and that'll all take care of it for you. If you've got any other topics that you'd like me to cover or questions you'd like me to answer, why don't you use the comment section in the bottom of this video, and then I will review that and get those videos out to you. Because I'd love to be able to get videos that are going to be helpful and practical for you in the season of life that you're in. God bless you, and I'll see you in the next video.